Hey guys, yesterday we ranked every AD from best to worst on the new patch, and today we're going to be going through all of those and look at what the new best builds are for every single AD carry. There are going to be a lot more options now. That's kind of the whole point of this entire update, but Lowalytics tracks the specific item and build win rate, so we can see what's going to start you all off and give you a good idea of what to build. If you have any cool builds that you are trying though, definitely leave them down below in the comment section and we can look and try them ourselves. Now anyway, let's crack on with the builds using the same order as yesterday, which I'll put down in the description if you want to skip forward a little bit. Kai'Sa's build hasn't changed a massive amount. There are a lot of good builds you can actually run on her, but these are going to be the main ones. For Keystone though, Fleet Footwork is actually better than Pressy Attack. It sounds a little bit weird, but remember with all of those nerfs that Fleet actually had, the AP ratio for the heal was increased, which will make sense in a second. Build option number 1, AP. Rageblade is core anyway for all of these builds. It stacks her passive amazingly well, buffs AD and AP together, which both increase damage in her kit. From there though, you can get Nash second with Berserkers that will upgrade your E really early into the game for the stealth, and your passive and your W will start to seriously hurt. It makes her way more bursty, more reliant on her passive damage, but her AP ratios on that did just take a hit, so maybe this will shift a little bit more soon. If it does, another build that is really good would be Rageblade, Runins, Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, and then Guardian Angel, a more traditional AD carry build for Kai'Sa, and this will balance out your damage between your passive, your auto attacks, and your Q. Lucian also has a fair few builds floating around, but the new Essence Reaver is definitely getting in there. It's so good for him. Pressy Attack is the keystone all the way. It was buffed a few patches ago, and it does some serious damage when your passive can proc it so quickly. Essence Reaver or Blade can be first though. Blade is cheaper, Essence Reaver is reworks. Both are going to be a lot better for Lucian right now. A lot of pros are actually going back to the Black Cleaver build a little bit more, so it's like Blade the Ruined King and then Essence Reaver as your first two items, then back to Black Cleaver and crit afterwards. It's kind of the old school build. Blade has really good synergy with Cleaver, and now Essence Reaver doesn't need crit strike in the build to actually work. You can just kind of slot it in anywhere. You can also try going for pure crit, so like Essence Reaver rapid fire cannon into Infinity Edge is more glass cannon. It takes longer to power up, but it is still a good option. Misfortune has two pretty different builds depending on how you want to play her. So for Keystone, Arcane Comet on Conqueror, even Aerial or Fleet work, but Comet is kind of for poke and Conqueror is for all in. Option 1 is lethality. This didn't really change at all with the patch, and with the game being a bit faster, it works even better now. AD carries actually do have a little less armor to start the game now as well, so it works even better. Other choice is for more scaling, taking Storm Razor, then Rapid Fire Cannon and Infinity Edge. Now remember, your ultimate can crit, and Storm Razor and Love Tap damage is a huge chunk of burst from range with Rapid Fire. Draven is actually kind of nuts with the new items, and especially Storm Razor as a first item. Conqueror is going to be the best keystone at the moment. Pressy Attack can also work, so can things like Aerie still from a while ago, but Conqueror is just so easy to use and it makes him hit even harder, like burst even harder. Storm Razor is first in most games. You can also grab a Bloodthirster if you want to first, but Razor and your Q damage can seriously chunk them out from range. From range with your rapid fire cannon right afterwards, it's that long range crit and Q damage to poke them down, a combo that a lot of different champions are using at the moment. Draven actually has a pretty regular build path, it seems like. So Storm Razor, rapid fire cannon, Infinity Edge, and Bloodthirster are the 4 items that end up being bought as your first 4. Like the order might change a little bit, but those will be the 4. Ezreal is an easy one though, probably easiest of the video, hasn't changed at all because none of his items were included except Last Whisper, I guess, was a little bit of a rework. Same rune page with Kleptomancy for the gold to speed up your build. Mana Immune Rush though for most of the time. Like we're running double tier, so getting the first one stacked is more important as well. It's normally Trinity Force after that. With other builds slowing down a little bit, you have a bit more time to get Trinity over Iceborne, even if it is a bit more expensive. Archangels after that, so it is double tier, as we said, more poke damage, more mana, a shield, rounding out with a blade and a Last Whisper, which are both better in this patch. Jhin is going to be a little bit weird, but so far seems like Storm Razor Rush is the way to go. Fleet is a keystone as well that is played the most, but there are a few using Arcane Comet again, which we saw a while ago. So according to most solo queue games, the build is this crit one. Storm Razor, Rapid Fire Cannon, long range crit like we said before, then into Infinity Edge, Guardian Angel, or Last Whisper, or a Shib for 100% crit. So a pretty ham build actually. A lot of pros do it a little bit differently. So Storm Razor with lethality for earlier damage. So they would go like Storm Razor into Ghost Spade and then maybe Dust Spade on top of that to get those as their first 3 items. The first proper full crit champion of the video though is going to be Jinx, and we have a few options for this one. So it is still Fleet Footwork as the keystone. I tried Lethal Tempo the other day out as well, and I actually liked it, but Fleet is going to win a bit more. So you can get your Storm Razor first if you want to as your first item, right? You can get the AoE rocket crit, and that was really cool for me. It does a lot of damage. Then it would be like Runins, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, or Bloodthirster, or Guardian Angel, but 100% crit is amazing with Jinx. Jinx. You can also though just rush 100% crit by going into Runins, then Infinity Edge, then Rapid Fire Cannon afterwards, but your like 1 and 2 items will be a lot weaker that way. Moving on to Xayah then. Seems to be deciding between Stormrazor and Essence Reaver still. People mix them match, I guess, but not as much has actually changed for her. Fleet is still taken a lot more, and Press Attack is about the same, so that is really a choice up to you. Pros are like 50-50 basically. Stormrazor is a little bit better as a first item, but it's very close. You can actually get both if you want to, but Rapid Fire Cannon is almost always going to be your second item. Infinity Edge third, just like how almost every crit build is where it slots in here, and then it's normally just going for 100% crit. Essence Reaver is definitely a good item for her though, so Stormrazor offers a bit more early power, I guess, and Essence Reaver is more for the ability spam, so it depends how you want to play. Caitlyn seems to be the typical standard crit build that we're seeing on most champions at the moment. So for Keystone, it is standard as well. Fleet Footwork still the best. To be honest, Press Attack doesn't really have the best synergy with Caitlyn. Also, we have to remember that we're not building lifesteal in these builds until a bit later into the game, so Fleet actually still helps. There are 2 crit builds that you can go. The first one is Stormrazor into Rapid Fire Cannon and Infinity Edge, like we talked about a lot already in this video, especially with Jinx. That is good, and you're going to find like 1 item you'll be really strong. 2 feels pretty good, and then before you get your Infinity Edge third, you're going to feel a little bit weaker while you're buying it. The other option though is to go straight 100% crit rush, so Rapid Fire Cannon into Infinity Edge into Shiv, which is basically what we're doing last patch, and it still works really well. It depends if you want the early Stormrazor power or just a bit of a better mid game. Now, I said Ashe before was pretty underrated, and I think the new Essence Reaver helped a fair bit. Lethal Tempo is a really underrated keystone as well. I think it's actually really good, but Fleet Footwork, Press Attack are both okay as well, so that choice is really up to you. The good part about the new Essence Reaver is that it does actually trigger on your first auto attack after your ultimate, so you can arrow, you can get in range and run towards them, and then it's going to kick in when you auto attack. That lets you spam your W a little bit more. Then you have the mana regen as well, then Runins, Infinity Edge, and a crit build after that. This build is very standard. You can go Stormrazor if you want to. You could even go Blade the Ruined King as well actually, but there aren't as many options as other AD carries for Ashe at the moment. Now, some people for Twitch actually swear by Halo Blades, but it's not doing that well just yet. Like, the win rate is really bad. Fleet Footwork and Press Attack are about the same though, so it's up to you whether you want to go for more damage or more healing there. Blade is actually making a bit of a comeback as first item, but it is normally going to be Stormrazor or Runins. It's a lot like Caitlyn actually, either Stormrazor, then Runins your crit item, Infinity Edge, and finish it with the Shiv for 100%, or you can skip the Stormrazor and get your crit item first of all, so your Runins, then your Infinity Edge, then your Shiv, and have 100% at just 3 items for a much quicker mid-game spike. Kog'Maw is one that hasn't really changed that much, except we can stick an Essence Reaver in there to mix things up a little bit. Lethal Tempo though is now the most common keystone to take. Fleet is just under that. Both are about the same, so again, it's kind of preference. We kind of need Rage Bait though to make our W sting a lot more, so that is cool. We have to buy that really. After that, we can mix it up a little bit. Most people are still going for Runins, but you can actually get an Essence Reaver. Now, I know Deft has been trying this a little bit because you can have your W up for about 20 seconds if you use it and time it properly. Essence Reaver can fit into the build whenever you want, honestly. That's the good part about that, but you can go more on hit with like a Blade the Ruined King style build, or you can go more Glass Cannon and get an Infinity Edge after Runins. Sivir is actually very similar as well, how you would build her last patch, even if the build does something slightly different now with the new Essence Reaver. So Fleet is winning the most as a keystone for now, but Press Attack, a Conqueror as well are not going to be bad choices. Most of the time, it is Essence Reaver first, and then the usual like Phantom Dancer or a Shiv or a Rapid Fire Cannon into an Infinity Edge and 100% crit after. Stormrazor is an option as well. It is decent, but the problem is then you have to get your Essence Reaver or your Infinity Edge a bit later into the game, and we want both pretty early. Essence Reaver might not seem cool, but basically it lets you have 100% uptime on your W in a team fight, which is so key for her team fight damage. I could honestly just like copy paste Caitlyn's page onto Tristana. I think you have 2 choices for the build depending on how aggressive you want to go. Fleet Footwork or Press Attack are both good as keystones. I honestly like Press Attack on the synergy you have with your explosive charge or E. So Stormrazor though can let you go a bit more aggressive. It's also the most popular one at the moment so far in 8.11. Mostly then it would be Shiv after that into Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon to cap out the core of the build. You can also just rush into that though, so a Shiv into Infinity Edge into Rapid Fire Cannon to get it a bit earlier rather than needing 4 items to complete it. Varus is very similar as before this patch. There are 3 main build choices I think you can go. All are a little bit different. Keystone is still Fleet Footwork. Press Attack and Lethal Tempo are not bad choices, but I'm not sure he really needs the extra damage right now. Rage Bait first is in every one of these builds. Synergy with your W is just way too good to pass up. You kind of need to get the item. Then you have the AP build though, so Nash's into Death Gap and Zhonya's. That will give you way more burst on your Blight stacks and your ultimate together. The other option is crit like last patch. It was kind of the Uzi build, so Runins into Infinity Infinity Edge and Rapid Fire Cannon, so you can start to crit people instead. The last option would be Runins into Blade the Ruined King and go fully commit into the on-hit style of play. But that one is a little bit harder, a little bit tougher to play in team fights. The last couple of ones, Vayne has quite a few choices, and all of them will be pretty good if she can actually get to 3+ items every game, which is not happening at the moment. Fleet Footwork, Press the Attack are about the same. I would say Press the Attack is better if you're going to be looking to build a Blade first, though. That is something we're seeing a little bit more, like Blade into Rage Blade or just Phantom Dancer, a kind of like attack speed crit build. The most common, though, is going to be Storm Razor into Shiv or Rapid Fire Cannon and Infinity Edge and 100% crit. The standard crit build that we've really been talking about for this entire video. Finally, then, Kalista. Not many people play her, so it's kind of hard to get the best build down for her, but it looks something like this. So Lethal Tempo or Press the Attack. I personally prefer Press the Attack, but Lethal Tempo is used more right now. A Blade into Runins every single game, though. You need the lifesteal, and Runins is really good for applying AoE lifesteal and also the Ren stacks. Then you can go Bloodthirster for double lifesteal. You can go Rage Blade for even more Ren stacks, which is really good versus tanks and objectives, by the way, or even Infinity Edge for a crit build. So there you go. That should give you a very good starting point for every single AD and how you would want to at least start building them when you get into game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and it helps you out a little bit. Thank you for watching, and for now I will leave you with the robots.